Welcome back, you late night, early morning, and midday tutors. We are back with our twice annual top album of the year. This is the second time we've done it, right?
Oh, I thought that meant like twice a year. I thought you were trying to say
Second annual. I meant second annual, but I said twice annual. Yeah, so second annual top album of the year,
and we have done it every year that we've had this podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
Called consistency is key.
That's why we're seeing our numbers just explode.
Yep.
So I am Steven Schultz. I am one of your hosts. I am joined here with my other boy host, Rob Schultz.
Ciao, boy.
We're in the same room, which is crazy. We're like next level podcast.
We're up to 3. This is our 3rd one this year that we've done.
Yeah, so we're next level.
And at the time of this recording, our audience still has not heard our second one because you were supposed to chop that up and process it for me while I was in San Antonio.
I was. Yeah, I was supposed to do that. All right, great.
But here we are.
All right, well, that's something to do arrive tomorrow.
Our listeners are going to get a nice treat of 2 quick episodes. Never before happened.
Yeah, so and then we'll go on like a 3-month hiatus so you don't go into shock by all of the content getting thrown at you by We Don't Know Toots. So, we're starting off with our top 5 episodes. I'm going to have to preface it with this disclaimer. It was a We Don't Know Toots year for me, for sure. I had to cut some.
Also, I want to clarify, you said our top 5 episodes, top 5 albums.
Yeah,
our favorite albums of the year.
I meant our top 5 episode. Anyways.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyways, this podcast definitely, I'm going to talk about some albums that we already talked about.
Yep, same.
We brought some bangers onto the show this year. I can't help that.
It helps that we've just we are so inconsistent with our uploads that when we do them, we're just let's do something that we like.
Yeah.
So yeah, it makes sense that our top 5 recap is going to have some of these again.
Yeah. So I'll start off with my number 5 that I am getting to. All right. This band, this is not one of the podcast ones, but this band was pretty new to me this year. I think they were in my top 20. But they were Friday Pilots Club. Had a new album called Nowhere. I don't know. Do you listen to them at all?
I know what they sound like, but I remember you on the episode that has yet to be released that you said they were in your top 20.
Yeah. So this is I could see you liking it. I don't know how much you would really. Yeah, because they have
in the mood for that kind of music.
They have a bit of a Palais Royale sound to them, especially this episode. So a few this album.
I got you.
Thank you, fam. A few top songs from this. I just picked out my top 3 from each album that I like.
I would think you out doing that.
That's a good idea to pick. First one, Vampire Disco. This is one of those songs what do you imagine a band that sounds like Palais Royale that wrote a song called Vampire Disco? What that song sounds like? That's pretty much
correct.
That's what this song sounds like. So it's a cool song, kind of that's not really spooky rock, but spooky rock is what it is. Spectator, it's a little more chill song. It has a really cool line in it that I thought was cool. Bestseller first edition of a lip read. I thought that was a cool. I don't even know what it means, but it was a cool line, so I wrote it down. And then third one is Ultraviolet Obsession. This is that classic vibey dark rock kind of with that echoey kind of chorus. You know what I'm talking about when I say that? Yeah. So, but I think Ultraviolet very fantastic. Now we can't edit that out because we're on the same mic.
Well,
oh my, watch him. Anyways, Ultraviolet Obsession I think is probably my top pick from this, but it's a cool album. I didn't even realize that they came out with this album because I was surprised that they were in my top 20. So I'm not that into them. So then when I was actually looking at what albums came out this year, I'm like, that album is this year, and I was like, oh, okay. Same with there's another album on here that I did not realize it came out this year, but because I had some songs in there that I freaking love, so I was pretty stoked to put it on the list. So there you have it. Nowhere by Friday Pilots Club. So Rob, what's your numero cinco?
My number 5 album of the year was one that also we did not talk about yet. And like we've recapped, we are mainly covering like rock, alt rock type. My earbuds will not connect to my phone, so I can't even safely preview things while I'm talking. But
That's right. I'll sing them. Just give me a title.
there's not a lot of words. The album is Inhale Exhale by Rufus Du Sol. Yeah, that's the whole song. That's the whole album actually. All 59 minutes and 3 seconds of it was him doing that. But
What is it called though?
Inhale/Exhale by Rufus Du Sol.
Because I went and listened to a bunch of his music when you told me about it.
Yeah, Rufus Du Sol is like one of those artists that I found. So like I've liked different types of electronic music since like high school, mainly starting with like Skrillex and dubstep as one does. But then like when I really got into my EDM phase back in the day, Rufus Du Sol was doing a lot of remixes, and I liked them from them or him. I don't know. I think it's multiple people.
Dude, anytime it's a band with one guy's name,
A person's
I'm
name.
like, this, you're one person, it's a guy. Don't even pretend that there's someone else playing those drums.
But yeah, very cool. It's hard. I don't listen to enough EDM to really describe accurately what they sound like. But it's more chill EDM, atmospheric a little bit. I really wish my earbuds would connect so that I could like listen and tell you at the same time, but not gonna happen apparently. But if I had to pick a top 3, the number 1 would be a song that I've recommended on our outros once, one of our recommended songs at the end of an episode. Break My Love. Very like Blade Runner-ish kind of sound to it. Very cool song. The intro track is called Inhale and the outro track is called Exhale. So I would recommend those as like, because it's very like, it's EDM and it's not a lot of singing. It's more of a sound. So the whole album's kind of almost conceptual in a way. Like it's more of an experience, like something you listen to start to finish. So like those 2 songs kind of tie in really nicely. You can hear elements from both tracks. But then what was the other one? Breathe was the one that another one that I really liked from that. The whole album is a very cool sound. But I think even if you like EDM, I feel like Rufus Du Sol's kind of a acquired taste. It might not be, but it kind of is.
I don't know. I feel like because when people think of EDM, they do like automatically go to like Skrillex.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, like just like and just you like getting pumped. And he's got, because you recommended it, because I was like, yo, dude, what kind of like blues or blues rock and stuff do you listen to? And you gave me some blues and blues rock, but then you're like, you should try this because it's like more of like a chill, vibey, like some of the blues that I was counting as blues. So
I said it was like the blues.
no, like what I was kind of looking for. Like I was like, I'm not specifically like going for blues, but kind of like the chill, moody, like vibey, like all that kind of mixed together. And Rufus Du Sol has a lot of that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
He/they do.
he/them/
Whatever the group identifies as.
I don't know. Let's see here. If they don't have their little profile of themselves.
They have their hair. It sure shows 3 people. So that's why my gut was like, oh, maybe it's one person. But the name is Rufus.
It's John George, James Hunt, and Tyrone
Linkobist. Okay, yep. So that's 3 guys. All right.
Yep. It doesn't say where Rufus Du Sol came from, but it has umlauts over the U, so maybe it's not
definitely Spanish.
Definitely means something. They have 8.3 million listeners, though. Wow. All right, anyways. Just me and Rob talking about what we're looking at on our mobile. It's very interesting to everyone.
Podcast material.
All right. My number 4 is Linkin Park, From Zero. It has to be. Oh, that's your number 4?
It's my number 4.
All right. Well, we'll discuss together.
Yeah.
This had to be on there because it was like I went through and listened to it several times ago. Because I'm like, I don't want to put it on there just from a nostalgia standpoint for me. Like State Champs did not make my list. Like even though they're a nostalgia band, but I was listening, I'm like, it's a genuinely good album. And the fact that they came back and made something that good. I'm like,
definitely came back from that long of a hiatus with a new singer.
Yeah.
And made a banging album. Definitely deserved like one song that I was like, this ain't for me. But all the other ones, bangers.
Definitely earned them the prestige of being on my list.
Yeah.
Which is...
Did I misspeak? That might have been my number 2. That was my number 2. False alarm. Spoiler alert.
Dope schwack.
Alright, that was not my number 4.
Well, continue with your thoughts then. I mean, that was pretty much it. My top songs from it, I couldn't honestly, it's kinda hard to pick for me too because the whole album was really good, so I just kinda picked 3 good ones.
Yeah.
And if you really want an in-depth look at how we feel about each song, there's a great episode on a great podcast.
2 really hot dudes on this show have already talked about it.
Yeah, so the MD Machine, I still love that because that's like
Mhm.
when the new singer first comes on
Yeah. Yep.
and then she hits that chorus, the "Let me catch."
Man.
That's really good. I love that song. Heavy as the Crown is still a super cool song with a great flow to the music. And Two-Faced, I think is a great one. I love the instrumentals on
Yeah.
Two-Faced
Yeah.
as well. So,
Yeah, I think Two-Faced would definitely be a top 3 off that album for me. I'm just looking back through my notes. I'm not gonna lie, I did not do a very good job preparing for this episode. Like, I knew all the albums I was trying to pick from, but since so many of them ended up from episodes we've already done, I was just like, I'm just gonna go through the old notes. But yeah, um, Two-Face definitely a good one. Where let's see, where was the one? I know there's another one. I Gave You Everything I Had, or IGYEIH.
yeah.
Just one of those classic Linkin Park sounding songs. So, dude, hard to pick a top 3 from that album because it was so good start to finish.
I was listening to it today, though. The song Overflow, I have zero recollection of that song existing on that album.
Really?
It, like, came up and I was like, "Oh, it must be shuffling the next like, recommended songs." I was like, "This is I have no memory of that song existing."
Like I said back when we did that episode, I said it felt like a good interlude, but one of my least favorites. So maybe it just fell by the wayside when we were thinking about it.
I did not pick it in my recommendations. I just wanted to mention that because for some reason I was sitting there, I was like, "What the heck?"
Yeah.
So, well,
So what my actual number 4 would have been Story So Far's new album, I Wanna Disappear. And I was listening to it on the way here. I'm not gonna lie, I did not take any notes on it.
ah,
But like this album and the last one that they released, they definitely like changed sounds, kind of not as pop punk, like rock heavy Story So Far sound, but more of that. I almost want to say indie, but I know that's not the right description for it. But it's just a softer, more poppy kind of sound, a
yeah.
little bit happier sound, even though the lyric matter hasn't changed as much. But um, but from like that their last album, oh, hold on, let me pull it up.
The not proper dose.
Yeah, Proper Dose. Like, it took me a long time to come around on that, just because that was the first time they like switched their sound like that. And like the stubborn part of me was like, no, this is not good enough. This is not Story So Far. But then like a couple years later, it's like, oh, this is actually pretty good music. And then I Want to Disappear came out June of this year, June 21. And it took me a little while to get into it. Big Blind was the first single that they came out with, which still isn't my favorite off the album. But All This Time would probably be my number 1 favorite. Or no, Letterman. Letterman was the one that there was another one of their singles, but I didn't like it as much. Big Blind, I did really like. I Want to Disappear was a much slower, softer song and kind of sad, more sad, but also very good. So those would be the 3 I'd probably recommend. Yeah.
I don't think they're ever gonna return to like
Oh,
what you don't see.
they won't.
I don't think they'll ever get coast. Honestly, like I Want to Disappear. I think this album is probably gonna be like the closest to that style they're ever gonna get. Yeah.
Um, but they're one of those bands where like the lead singer was going through a lot back with their first.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
And
remember.
I don't know that I don't want to say that he got sober, but I feel like he might have gotten sober for like their 2 most recent albums, or cut some stuff out or something like that. So I mean, it's more of like a healing thing. So like, you're not gonna go back to the guy that's depressed and on drugs, and you wouldn't really want to root for that either.
Yeah. You messed up in the head if you ruined for that. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I gave that a thorough listen through, to be honest. I know we talked about doing it.
Yeah, we did. You were probably traveling. We didn't do it. I think you probably were out of town.
Okay.
Either that, or we were just doing what we do and just not uploading for
Just not doing it.
Yep.
We might have just not done it. Well,
that our number 3 is actually both our number 3.
I promise you it's not.
Okay, all right. What's your number 3?
This is the one that I was like, this came out this year. Supernatural by Barnes Cornwell.
Oh yeah,
I was gonna say that would blow my mind.
I listened through it. I like it. I like Bronze Cardinal.
So Supernatural. I know this song's been submitted in a Musically Ground. Surprise, surprise, we're mentioning that again.
No. Yep.
But that I love that song. I like beat that song to death, so I had to take a break from it. But now I'm good to listen to it again. So like I love it. Starts off just like pretty cool, chill, like regular alt rock song. But when they hit that, like it's just that song's fantastic. I love that song. Um, National Treasure. That's a solid rock song. A classic, like Barnes Courtney is rock and alt rock. So just that classic opening song to an alt rock album. That's what National Treasure is. But it's got cool lyrics, and how the lyrics go, they flow really well with the song. I remember there's like a section to it that I wanted to that I was gonna mention. He's like he keeps releasing songs with like it's the one with like the close up to people's faces. All of his album artwork does. And he just released a single. Have one close
Really
up to
off
the
way where like girl's face all bloody and everything. I'm like,
yeah.
first time I saw, I'm like, why?
I'm like, please stop. But like it's if you like listen to the opening song, it's pretty how it's he gets like the I'm your leader, I'm your teacher, I'm your Michelin man. Like he's got a good flow to it. I like his Colonel Mustard Knuckle Duster, I'm exchanging blows. Mamma Mia, nice to see ya. Get that gun in your hand. Like it's just a cool lyrics. He's pretty good lyrically, like writing. So
Jorge. It's another guy or another band with a person's yang.
I actually looked. I think this is just a guy. Let's see here. The record follows Courtney's star-making debut. So maybe this is just one. Sounds like drawing influence from Ziggy Stardust.
Oh, yes.
My favorite. But so National Treasure, that's another good pick. And then another one on that album, Too Young to Die, is this is like a good upbeat alt rock song. I like the lyrics where it's "Look at my side, minigun bride." I thought that was a cool like,
He's on what?
minigun bride. So like you're
Oh, okay.
like just it's a cool way of saying he's strapped. He says stay strapped.
Stay strapped, so then it clapped.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's got luck on his side, but it's just he's got a pistol. So, but I thought that not pistol, but minigun. Anyways, that's a cool lyric as well. He's just got a lot of cool little one-liner things that I like how he writes them. But that's Barnes Corney is a very fun. Usually, I don't know if I want to say like upbeat, but that's the best way I can describe it right now. Upbeat rock and alt rock kind of music that's cool to listen to. So definitely check out Supernatural by. It was tough to put that at 3 to be totally honest, but I've got some certified bangers in 2 and 1. Yes, so
Yeah, same. So I'm wondering if maybe I took your 2 or 1. I put at number 3. I put "Things Are Different Now" by Rain City Drive.
there it is. I have that. Yep.
Okay, I figured. It's another one that we've already covered on this show, so I won't.
You guys already know though because
Yeah,
you've been learning.
you have them memorized too. So, but if we're gonna pick a top 3, obviously easy number 1 for me would be Frozen. I recommended it on our outros before. Just really love the instruments and the way he sings in that. Medicate Me with Dayseeker, both 2 really good bands that I really like, but that song especially was definitely a banger. I think I might have to say like Over Me, just the message of it and the way he sings on it. Just I thought that you'd grow old with me, but now you're over me.
Oh yeah.
That's some stuff.
Here, I'll leave my opinion so I announce this band, but
Just
I've got
like I said when we covered this album, like Rain City Drive, I've heard of over the years, but I slept on for way too long, and then like right around the start of this year, I just really got into them, and then they dropped this album. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a good one.
oh yeah, the whole album. I remember going through that and being like, well, hot darn. It's good start to finish. So yep, that's a solid pick, Rob. I'll give you that. I don't want to say where I put them in, but I guess
So not number 1 then.
well, you're gonna bring out number 2. You only have 2 or number 1 left. So you were gonna say it was number 2.
You were gonna say is my number 2. We can just talk about it now. So it must have been number 1.
Yeah. So my number
That's a bit of reasoning.
my number 2 is not even on your list for sure. Death or Glory by Palais Royale.
Oh yeah. I don't even think when I put that list together and you had me send it to you, did I even include them?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, hold on.
But what wanted to do what you had. I went so to figure out. You do a lot better job of tracking what music is released. I
Mhm.
have, like, no idea. I went to
It's Twitter. It's a Twitter addiction, bro.
this is the one positive use for the Spotify Wrapped this year is that I went to the AI and said,
Mm.
"Just build me a list of songs that were new this year from artists that I like to listen to." And it built me a bunch of really great ones. So, that's actually how I kinda like, I already had some in mind, but, like, Linkin Park, I'm like, I think that's gonna end up being on there. And then Rain City Drive was gonna be on there because that album was really good, but the couple others, I was like, I kinda know which other songs, cause like, especially when, like, I find a new band this year, like, in June or something, and I just add a couple songs to my playlist all from the same album, not really realizing that it came out this year,
Right.
and then I'll be like, "Oh, it's not like the Barnes Courtney."
Mm.
I had no idea that that music came out this year.
I do, I I I think of it all year long, or since we did it last year, since we did this episode last year, like, ever since the start of this year, I'm like, "Okay, let's keep this in mind." Instead of just putting it in my phone as, like, "This came out this year," I'm just like, "Let's keep this in mind."
Yeah, that's when I do it.
And then, like, a month ago, I'm like, I should probably start thinking about what albums came out this year so I can actually, like, talk about them."
Yeah.
So I just had to, like, sit there and, like, really rack my brain and, like, go through my liked songs and all my different playlists and be like, "Okay, yes, this album." But yeah, I don't do as I'm good at noticing when it happens, but
Yeah.
not keeping track of it.
Yeah. Well, anyways, but Death or Glory by Palaye Royale. I was happy because I was like, finally, I'm bringing something new to you, to the like, you knew them, but,
True.
not really a band you listen to. But, I already had several songs. That's kinda one of my measures for what my top album was, though, is, like, I'm like, if I'm just saving a bunch of songs from this album,
Yeah, it's gotta be.
like, it's gotta be one of the top ones, so but I saved a couple that I already have saved was Death or Glory by Palaye Royale. I really like it, like, I like that it's the, "If you don't like it, cancel me," but not because 'cause I'm like, "Yeah, because, shut up, cancel, kill, here's a cultures." I just like how they, like, sing it and phrase it. They're really just have, like, that I don't care kind of vibe to me. They're not going in and saying anything super divisive or anything like that. They're just, like, saying, like, I'm just
Unlike the Eminem album, where
yeah,
he said the whole album was,
him
"I'm gonna get canceled,"
yeah,
which is just a cringy thing to do, especially if you're Eminem. I don't feel like you have to do
yeah,
like that.
yeah, so but Death or Glory was a good one. Another good one, Ache in My Heart. I really like that song. Um, I remember I was listening to the song after we did the album review, excuse me, and it came up in my shuffle, and I don't think I had it saved, and then I was like, "Man, this song's a pretty solid. What is this?" I went and looked, and I was like, "Oh, this is off their new album." But it's got, like, that baby voice, it's the 1, 2, 3, I can count.
Yeah.
But it sounds cool in it, so I really like that song, so, and then Dark Side of the Silver Spoon is a really good one. This has, like, that little piano.
We did a lazy minute to it the other day, weren't we?
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. That came up in conversation, yeah, for some reason the other day.
But I mentioned, Dark Side of the Silver Spoon's lyrics in the other podcast, but this is, like, a good example of their creativity and
Mm.
lyrical writing. So that's one reason I really like the song, but it is super catchy, so I'm not gonna spend a buttload of time on that song because, obviously, we already spent an hour on it, so
All right. Well, my number two, believe it or not, Linkin Park from View.
whoa, dude,
So
tells you got that
let's
album.
get into that.
Yeah.
Nah, I already, like I said, we already covered that. I've got plenty to say about my number one pick. So let's just go ahead and move on to number one here.
Alright. My number one, which I guess will be for you, and scoot on through because Rain City Drive, I put Things Are Different Now by Rain City Drive be line number one. Because that's like, I have a bunch of songs saved from it in a bunch of different playlists. And going through it, I think, like, Linkin Park, that album, like, really had few weaknesses or few bad songs to me in it. But I wasn't, like, saving as many as I was saving from this playlist, this album. This album had, like, it was great from start to finish. There was a couple songs I was like, yeah, it's pretty average, but other than that, like, it was really good, and I have a bunch of them saved, so
I've gotten into a really bad habit recently of, like, even if I like an album like Linkin Park or Rain City Drive or whatever, like, I won't even save them to my like songs because I've gotten in a really bad habit of just not saving songs to my like songs. Because sometimes when I want, like, I'm listening to music and nothing's hitting, I'll just go into like songs and I'll play in order from the most recent saved like song. And I'm like, I don't want 5 Linkin Park songs in a row.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I'm doing that to myself, even though I love like all these albums that we've been talking about.
So how do you use your liked songs playlist on Spotify though? Because I use a shrug emoji. I call it my shrug emoji playlist, which is my listen to it later playlist.
Yeah, I have one of those. I just call it random. But I save songs if I'm not sure at first. Like some songs that I know I like, I'll save it right to my like songs, so that if I ever click shuffle on my like songs, it'll be a song that I like. But the random ones, I'm like, I need to give this another listen,
Yeah.
and then don't let it grow on me, kind of thing. But I don't want to forget about it. But yeah, I don't know. If I'm listening to my like songs, I rarely put it on shuffle. I'm usually like, I'll pick a spot. I'll be like, okay, there's a good run of songs right there. Let's listen to all these in a row.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I don't know why I've started doing that to myself, where I just don't like songs from an album when I'm listening through it.
Yeah. I do it for the podcast. Like, I don't say like, and if it's an album I haven't listened to yet, like you're like, hey, this album just came out, so then I'm listening to it specifically for the podcast. I save like none of the songs,
Yeah.
and then like I'm sitting there and I'm like, we're talking about, I'm like, absolute banger of a song. I'm like, I not even
Did not click like.
didn't. I will forget about it after. So that's why I like the Rain City Drive when I was adding songs, and like Barnes Courtney when I have the song saved. So
That's what I need. That's what I need to get back in the habit of doing. If I like the song, I'm just gonna click like.
yeah, I do the same thing with like my shrug emojis where I go if I don't know what I want to listen to, because I know all the songs in there are at least okay,
Yeah.
but I've had songs in there for like months because I'll like listen to them like it's growing on me,
Yeah.
and then I'll go back and be like, I don't like that, and then all of a sudden I'm like, that's actually a pretty good song. So
I've been building my random playlist for years. And so like there'll be songs like especially if I click shuffle on it, I get back like a couple of years ago, I'm like, ugh, what is this song? But then I won't remove it.
yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, I find it another day.
I clean mine out. I only have like 20 some songs in it.
I've now I'm wondering how many songs I have.
Mine will get up to like 50.
I have 49 hours and 56 minutes of music saved to my random playlist.
What on earth? You need to diversify your.
I've been doing it for years. I've been doing it for years.
I have 2 hours.
I think I started building this when I still lived in Ohio. Yeah. Just the memories that I have about when I found some of these songs. Yeah, this is back when I lived in Ohio, so at least 4 years ago. At least.
Bro, that's ridiculous.
Yep.
I don't. Oh, look, there's a Friday Pilot song in here. I mean, I've got some songs in here that I've had in for a couple months, but that's crazy, dude. Sitting there listening.
Yeah. But then at least that way it's on a lot of music that I know that I kind of at least a little liked. At least at some point in my life, I was like, this is okay.
Yeah, I've gotten this past year. How I've been operating on Spotify is I've actually started diversify. Like for the longest time, I basically had two playlists. One was for me to listen, so I put love songs in that,
Sure.
and then the other was everything else went into that playlist. And so I'd be like jamming out, and then a real slow acoustic song would come on. I'm like, what is happening right now? Like I could never consistently get a good vibe.
So do you even like use your liked songs? Like what is your liked songs like?
I don't know.
You don't even use it.
I'll randomly be like, I have a song saved. Where do I have this song saved at? I'm not even sure I know how to get to just my liked songs.
I know if I was to go into my liked songs and like sort by like date added and go back to when I first started Spotify, it's back when I stopped pirating music, because like I used to pirate music all the time. So I had all this music saved when I pirated, and then that phone crashed and lost everything on it. So I was like, I'm not doing all that all over again. I'm just going to do Spotify. So I went to Spotify and saved tons of albums like in a row, like all of Poppy bands that I was listening to back now. So like in a row, it's just like, here's all Sum 41, here's all Fall Out Boy, here's all Thousand Foot Crowd, like all the bands that I was listening to back then. Like, so like I don't. So every once in a while, I'll come across a song and shuffle in my like songs. That like, that's not for me anymore, and I'll unlike it. But more or less, my like songs. Maybe that's why I am so much more pickier with liking songs now, because
I have my liked songs is very confusing.
Yeah.
I have 484 songs in there. I have no idea.
I promise you I have more than that.
But I don't know how I have that many, because I don't use my liked song. I never have gone to like songs and shuffled since I've had Spotify. ever.
That's wild.
I put them into playlists.
Yeah, like, I've put them into playlists, but, like, my like songs are across all genres.
Yes,
Everything that I like is here.
that's my
But
toast.
then I have well, that's my playlist like that is, like, my all-time favorites.
Yeah,
It's, like, all the stuff that I really like, but, like, my like songs is, like, everything, and then I'll have my different playlists, like a rock playlist, a rap playlist, EDM. So, like, if I'm in the mood for one thing or another, I can go to one specific thing.
I don't have an all-time James playlist.
I thought that's what your My Top Jams was, or your,
No, it's just no James. It's just kind of like every song I like. Not anymore though. Now, because now that like I've got like a blues playlist, I don't put my blues music anymore because I don't know, dude. I don't know what to do right now. I'm all over the
I'm on the
map.
right track.
I'm all over the map with Spotify. But while we're on a tangent, let's look at what the heck is in my like song, shall we?
I'm gonna randomly I just wanna say, alright, I have 3,916 liked songs.
Incredible. You just massive. Like I said, right as you back and walk with balls that way.
Back in the day, I just like, that first week of using Spotify, I'm just like, everything goes here.
Oh yeah, if like I go back to like my earliest Spotify like playlist that I was liking, it's just like skate park punk band stuff. Like,
Especially 'cause, like, back in when I first started using Spotify, I wasn't paying for premium, so,
yeah,
like, I didn't wanna go to a playlist and not be able to skip around, like, at least if I was in a liked song, like, everything was there.
yeah.
Songs I know.
But dude, I went to my like songs, and it's just the randomest stuff. All right, Tomorrow by Shaky Graves, but then it drops to Porn Star Dancing by My Darkest Days. But then randomly there's Viva La Vida by Cold. I've barely scrolled. We're like 10 songs in. There's Enter Iron Man by
Or kinda like the original your first couple likes.
No, this is my most
I think
this is my most
Enter Sandman is in your most recent.
I can't even remember the last time I listened to that. Cause well, Shaky Graves, that's a new band to me, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But Viva La Vida, Coldplay, and then Paramount, August Burns Red, Drew Barrymore by Bryce Vine, and then
Aaron's Red from Steven.
yeah,
My goodness.
and then Drew Barrymore or by Bryce Vine, Boobies in My Face by Lon.
Of course, has to be the right next almost right next to August Burns Red.
And then I Write Sins Not Tragedies by Panic at the Disco. And then the entire I don't know what album that is.
Except for Cutie.
By Death Cab for Cutie. I don't know if it's yeah, Transatlanticism is the name of the album. The whole thing. Gosh. I think this let's see here. Is that by this is by recently added. So and that's
Wow.
I mean, I barely scrolled to get
That's crazy that you don't use your because like I said, like that's why I'll go in and like start at the most recent liked because I'm like, this is kind of what I'm into right now. I might not have added to my current top jams playlist, but this is what I like right now. Or if I just want to hear something I like, I might throw it on shuffle.
see that's not a bad idea. I might maybe
Hey, you got your arm cut out for you, bro.
next time I'm like on a flight or something, what I'll probably do is I'll take my Toast and Jams, put everything in my Toast and Jams into my like songs, and then start using my Toast and Jams for my
That's what you gotta do. Cause yeah, I've got
Mm.
4,000 liked songs and might have 2 Death Cab for Cutie songs in there, not an entire album. And
You've opened my eyes today, Rob.
that's what this podcast is all about.
Yeah.
Growing music tastes and putting people onto
Very
new
smart.
tips and hacks.
Of course, what's probably going to happen is I'm going to get on the flight, see a movie I haven't seen, and I'm like, okay, and then I watch that and fall asleep. So we'll see if this happens.
Yes.
Anyways, what a rabbit trail, but we had time to do it. Anyways, Rob, it's time. Give me your top.
El numero uno. Number one. Numero uno. What's 4? Para?
What? Oh, yes.
Numero uno para Roberto. Para Roberto.
There you go.
The Mosaic by Capstan. I knew you weren't going to have this in there.
No.
Capstan, dude, I slept on, like, this is another band that I've known about for a long time, and I've maybe had 2 songs saved over all the years. But this album came out in May 24 of 2024. This album is so cool because, like, they've always been kind of like I almost want to say kind of like maybe like trophyized a little bit if I had to compare them to one band.
Yeah.
Because they've got like they've got that borderline pop punk, a little bit easy core. The thing about this album is it's called The Mosaic because they have so many different genres on this album. They flow in and out of all these genres. They have like acoustic songs. They have definitely pop punk songs, but they also have like metalcore, like really heavy breakdowns and screams. Like there's so many cool different like and the album is an hour long. There's 18 songs. It's an hour long. It nowadays that's a long album.
I guess, yeah.
But there's so many cool songs from it. And if I had to recommend the number one song, I would say Arrows by Capstan and features Trash Boat, which was cool because I also really like Trash Boat. But Arrows was definitely my number one song on there. But like they have so many features on here. They have Oliver Baxter featured on here, the lead singer of Broadside. Well, they don't have so many features. They have features that are noticeable. Another band called Throw, which I'd never heard of, but that's apparently a very heavy band because that's one of their really screamy, really riffy songs. But yeah, I think number two for me off this album would be Empire. That's one of the really heavy songs, and that's one of those songs that just came up after I finished listening to an album or whatever, and Spotify started playing other songs, and Empire came on. I'm like, oh, this is really good. It's really heavy and screamy, but like I was like, this is really a really good song. And so I opened this album. Sure enough, it came out in 2024, but I've listened to it many times this year. So it's hard to pick a favorite because there's so many different sounds and genres on here. But Arrows would be number one easily. Empire would be up there. Misery Scene is probably my number three. Like I said, there's just so many different sounds. Like it's kind of like I said, it's like listening to Trophy Eyes because they have so many cool different sounds, but they're spread out across different albums.
Yeah.
But they are a very Trophy Eyes-esque band. But you probably like What You Want featuring the lead singer Broadside. That's definitely one of their softer songs. But the whole album, it's an hour long. I listened to it on my drive up to Ohio again. I knew for a while that this was gonna be my number one just because of the way they did it. It was just really cool.
Well, we've got a road trip tomorrow, so you got to add that to the shuffle and dive on in.
Yeah. I'll make sure to play Empire because I know your wife is going to love it. It's real screamy.
Yeah, and I'll turn the volume up really loud so none of us can talk to each
And
other.
I'm going to hold her ear to the speaker so she can't ignore it,
Yeah, that'll be nice.
which is what I normally do with people on road trips.
And sibling bonding.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just classic. Well, I didn't have an actual honorable mention. I just wanted to say Skillet. I'm proud of you for trying to come back. Your childhood band. You tried your best, but
We still got love, but it's not this decade love.
I wanted to love your music so bad, but I could not.
This one was bad. That 19-year-old version of you is in there somewhere. It added to that really thrashy, screamy Christian metal, man. That's where it's at.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to do that when you're in your 40s, but
Yeah.
you can do it.
I believe in you. All right. If there's any time to do it, it's now. Anyways, I know you have a serious honorable mention.
I do have an actual honorable mention was Mouth Culture, Whatever the Weather. That was there was a song that came up from them, not on this. This is why it was an honorable mention. It was an EP. I didn't feel like making an EP one of my top albums. But so they had a song from like last year that came up in one of my recommended songs. I was like, whoa, this is actually Spotify recommended me something good that I hadn't heard.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. So I went and checked out the band. They had an EP this year. They're kind of like, they're a little more, they're like, if I had to compare them to a band, maybe like Movements, but a little more pop punk.
Okay.
Kind of little emo sound, but still pop punk and like jumpy and fun. But EP, like 5 songs, Whatever the Weather. I really I got into Mouth Culture pretty quick after that one recommendation. So a real honorable mention. But also shout out Skillet.
Yeah, shout out, you guys. Still trying.
So I have an honorable mention and I have a shout out.
Yeah.
So that's how we do it around here.
Well, there you have it, guys. Some great album recommendations. We'll do some song recommendations, as is our custom. So I'm going to be honest, Rob, not to draw attention to it, but I'm recommending it, so you're definitely going to recognize it when I do submit this into a Musical.ly. I've been trying not to, but this song is such a jam, and I was going to maybe use it to hopefully beat you, but I went with a different one.
Honestly, when I play the game, so do I, and on each game.
But Coincidental by Betcha.
I betcha.
Yeah, that it's a very cool song. I think you'll like it a lot. So,
What kind of music is it?
uh, I'd say it's like I don't know if you can say like alt rock blues. I
Okay.
don't like moody blue. I don't know. It's definitely way more alt rock,
Yeah.
but it's got a sadder sound to it. I don't know. Wait a minute. They really just dropped their debut album. Oh no, never mind. That's an old thing. They're on their thing. It says debut album out now. I was like, no way. This band has like an album that could have been for today. It's 2023, so I don't know. That's not even their
Yeah, some bands don't update their Spotify profile too aggressively.
yeah. So, but I don't even know how I would describe this band, but you should just give it a listen because I thought it'd be a good one for. I'm not gonna say any more on musically because I don't want to any. But I think you'll like that song. So it's very
Okay.
cool.
My recommendation is gonna be "Are You Ready Now" by Trash Boat.
Are you ready?
We just This was off an album that came out this year, but I didn't include it in my list because the whole album wasn't that great to me. But when I was re-listening to all my albums that I was thinking about for this year, this song stood out a little bit.
Okay.
They're, I mean, they're like Trophy Eyes, but they're kind of heavy, like that kind of same genre of rock, but they're a little heavier. But I really like Trash Boat. But off their new album, Are You Ready Now? I like that song.
All right. I have like one or two songs. I was starting to find songs from them this year. I didn't go through them.
They're another one of those bands that I've had songs saved way back in the past, but never tried too hard until I don't know, maybe a year ago.
I don't get I don't know, because there's been plenty of times where I'm in that situation. I'm like, you know what? I've saved the third song from this band. I should go listen to it. I'm like, oh, I saved that Weathering with songs. Yeah, I'm like that was it. So I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I'm interested to listen to Capstain because
There's gonna be a lot of songs you're not gonna like because they do get really screamy, really heavy. But then I mean, like I said, there's so many different sounds on that album.
you've talked about them though. I feel like before. Did they have an album last year that you were liking or something? Not it was
No, I know I played the number one song that I gave off that album. I know I played it in our game.
okay. Might be.
The one with Trash Boat, coincidentally.
Okay. Well, you'll just have to add some top jams from them in the
That can be
shuffle on the morrow, brother.
9-hour road trip. So
Yeah. So
maybe we'll start for all of you that are paying attention because this surely isn't going to be uploaded by tomorrow, knowing my track record.
oh, you got time in the car.
But if we start a jam, I hope all our fans realize that we started a jam, so you can recommend some songs for us.
Yeah. Wait, can you do it remote? I guess you can. Yeah. It's just not discoverable.
But yeah, you
You have to send it out.
following us.
So hit us up, and we'll add you to our jam. So all right, 2 years. Happy
Here
New
we
Year.
are.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. What have you? Thank you for listening and for another year of your unwavering support for sure. So we will see you guys in 2025.
Love you.
Love you.